السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأزواجه وذرياته وصحبه أجمعين. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The case against us, if it should end up being that way, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy on us, and may we ask Allah Ta'ala for hisab and yasira, for easy hisab, accounting. The reason is that the case against us is bulletproof by design. Imagine a judicial system. Imagine a judicial system that already knows your faults, your shortcomings, how you function, how you operate, how you think, your priorities, knows your weaknesses, your inclinations, and then sets up a system that if you should commit a crime, if you should transgress, if you should go beyond the boundaries of what is right, true, and correct, that it will seize you and leave you no opportunity to provide any valid excuse. No justification. So as soon as you commit the crime, you are automatically trapped in your guilt. You cannot escape it. There's no way to relieve yourself from it except through istighfar and tawbah. Ilallahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the only way for us to actually, after we have committed a sin, after we have committed a crime, because that's what it is. You say you're a criminal. Oh, well, that's a kind of person in society. That is a classification. That is a category of a type of individual within a society. You are a criminal. You commit crimes. You break the law. You disrupt everything for everybody else within the society. You are a criminal. Isn't that what we do? And then we say sin. It's just a sin. I have committed a sin. You have committed a crime. This is what you and I do on a daily basis. We commit crimes. The only issue is major crimes, minor crimes. In Arabic, mujrim. The one who is a criminal. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right from the very beginning, in Surah Al-A'raf, there is a famous ayah, all the ayahs are famous, but there's one that stands out that the vast majority of Muslims, you have heard it, come across it, has been presented to you at some point in time. The ayat of Alast. Alastu bi rabbikum. Am I not your Rabb, your master, your Lord, your sustainer, your judge? قالوا بلى شهدنا. We all bore witness. Why? أشهدهم على أنفسهم. Because Allah made us, because I told you it's bulletproof. Right from the very beginning, before we even enter into hayat al-dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making sure that the case, if we should go afoul, make sure that the case is airtight, because that is justice. So when we are guilty on Yawm al-Qiyamah, it's not 99.9% guilty. It's 100% guilty. See, here, we have to judge actions. We don't know what's in people's hearts. So we have to take the symptoms, if you will, or we have to take the details. We have to take the evidence. And based on that, we have to derive a conclusion. And based on that conclusion, reward, punishment, etc., like the results takes place. There is no confusion. The judge is not in doubt about what the intention, the motivation of the individual was. There's no confusion. The judge has crystal clear, pure clarity. Even the lies that you and I tell ourselves are ineffective against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The self-justifications that we use to assuage our own conscience is ineffective against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because to Allah, a lie is a lie is a lie. Your reasoning behind it doesn't change it. It may change how Allah ta'ala will prosecute it. But a lie is a lie is a lie. And if you don't believe that, then what about Ibrahim alayhi salam? Because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he informed us, everybody on Yawm al-Qiyamah will be nafsi, nafsi. What about me? I'm worried about me. What's going to happen to me? You won't be worried about your kids. You won't be worried about your parents and your family members, your neighbors, your best friends, your spouse. You will not care. Nobody will. Except for one person. Only one out of billions. Billions. Work that percentage out. One out of billions, including the Anbiya alayhi salatu salam, the prophets. But Ibrahim alayhi salam, when the people go to Ibrahim alayhi salam and ask the intercession of Ibrahim alayhi salam is also in a state of nafsi nafsi. What is his concern? The 3 lies that he told. Now he's Ibrahim alayhi salam. He's Khalilullah. He's an ummah in and of himself. We call him our father. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, when asked which salawat is the best, which durood is the best, that one which joins my name with the name of my father, Ibrahim alayhi salam. And now that same Ibrahim is worried about 3 lies in which there's justification for. Because Ibrahim alayhi salam, he knows a lie is a lie is a lie. How Allah chooses to deal with it is completely up to Allah. But at its asl, a lie is a lie is a lie. Even the ones we tell ourselves. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after making us, forcing us, we have to bear witness. What is the truth? What is reality? You must affirm that and confirm that you understand what reality is, what truth is. Before you enter the test, we must make sure that you know what the ultimate answer to everything is. Alastu bi rabbikum? Am I not your Rabb? Does not all harm and benefit come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not both the cause and the effect? Is anything in this dunya, in this entirety of creation, yani a mote of dust floating through the air, can it exist or can it float or can it do what it does without Allah? قالوا بلى شهدنا. We have testified to this reality, to this truth. أن تقول, unless you should say, 2 excuses. 2 excuses. Allah Ta'ala takes care of them right from the very beginning. Number 1, I was unaware. إِنَّا كُنَّا عَنْ هَذَا غَافِلِينَ. I was unaware. Now, mind you, it didn't say la adri, like I didn't know. I was unaware. Now, mind you, you have to juxtapose it, because to understand ghafla, you have to understand taqwa. If you understand taqwa, the opposite of that is ghafla. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you cannot say that you were not aware. You cannot say that you didn't know. So do not claim ignorance. Ignorance is not an excuse in Islam. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم طالب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم وفي رواية آخر مسلم ومسلمة. Seeking that sacred knowledge is an obligation. Fard. Salat is fard. Zakat is fard. Hajj is fard. Our aqidah is fard. What if you don't know that? Then learning it is fard. What if you don't know how to do it? Then learning it is fard. If you don't know why you're doing it, then learning it is fard. If I have a situation I'm encountering on a regular basis, learning how to deal with that situation is an obligation. So to what degree is this obligation upon us? So that you and I, as individual Muslims, that we can engage with this dunya safely, achieve our objectives, and fulfill the obligations that have been placed upon us by our Rabb Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To that degree, we are obligated. If you are in business, then you must learn the fiqh of business. To make salat, you must learn the fiqh of making salah. To be a Muslim and to know who you are. What is your identity? What is going to happen in the akhirah? What do you believe? What do you not believe? As a Muslim, as the ummati of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as the abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it must be learned. Which means effort, which means sacrifice, which means removing ourselves from the preoccupations that have overwhelmed us with distraction. Sufyan al-Thawri, rahimahullah, he says something more or less the meaning. He says, it astounds me. I'm blown away that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who owns this world, has no value for it. It comes in the hadith, isn't it? That the value of this entirety of this dunya to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is less than the wing of a mosquito. You don't even get the whole mosquito, not the whole bug, just the wing, worth less than that. So Sufyan al-Thawri is, I'm astounded. I'm blown away. I'm amazed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns the world, but has no value for it. But then people who don't own it place value in it. The ones who don't own it put value in it. And who are these people that do this, mind you? They are supposed to be the servants of the owner, the slaves of the owner of this dunya. So now we have tension, because the boss, the master, Rabbul Alameen, through Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, is telling us, do not chase this. You can't take it with you. It doesn't have any value. Its whole purpose is for you to use it as a utility to get close to Allah. That's the only value that it has, is when it is used for its intended purpose. Anything else is dhulm. So what is the haqq of our dunya? That it brings us closer to Allah. Now you and I, we have to ask ourselves, is that what's happening? As we engage with the mundane aspects of our lives, in a world and in a society that we become indoctrinated by and desensitized by into believing that this is some sense of normalcy. Some sense of normalcy. As we engage in all of that, are we getting closer to Allah? Are our priorities in order? Have we fulfilled the obligation of knowledge? We see people like, oh, I must make salat, have to make salat. You should be that way. I have to pay my zakat, must pay my, and you should be that way. But why some and not others? Why some obligations really important? Other obligations, it's okay. No worries. Let it go. I'll get around to it. Maybe later. One day. Why some and not others? And what does that say about us? Our understanding, our practice, our priorities? Because the second portion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the second excuse, prominent, dominant excuse, is to do what? أَفَتُهْلِكُونَ? Are you going to destroy us? Right? Why? Because of what? فَعَلَى الْمُبْطِلُونَ. Because of what? And who are they talking about? أَبَاؤُنَا. Because our fathers were on some nonsense. We were just their children. We came after them. We didn't know any better. We saw what our community, our society, our parents, our family members, our teachers, We saw what they were upon and we just followed in their footsteps. It's not our fault. We went with the flow. That was what was normal during my time. No. Invalid excuse. Alastu bi rabbikum? Because this knowledge issue causes us to also not pay heed to a whole nother issue. When I talk to parents and I say, do you feel a sense of obligation to your child? I don't think I have ever come across a parent who has said no. Actually, it's it's an intense emotion attached to this obligation. This is my child. At best, the person is thinking of this child as an amana. This child doesn't belong to me. This child belongs to Allah. This is not Abdi. This is Abdullah. This is not my servant. This is not my slave. I am not this person's Rabb. I am not the Rabb of my child. Allah is the Rabb of us both. It is not my place to dictate my child's life. It is Allah's place to dictate my child's life. And that's if with an advanced understanding, comparatively, today. But let me ask you this. Do you feel that same way about the entirety of the generations to come after us? When you look at somebody else's children, do you feel that same way? Do you feel that sense of obligation? If not, why not? Because of selfishness. There's a lacking of a sense of ummah. Within our communities, we see racial lines. We see nationalistic lines. We see social lines. We see even educational and academic lines and occupational lines. All these divisions that exist between us. And in our selfishness, we've become robbed. It has been stolen from us. This sense of ummah. That you are my brothers, my sisters, my family. Together, you and I, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, bi-rahmatillahi ta'ala, you and I are going to exist in Jannah together forever. We have family members that may or may not be Muslim and may or may not make it. But the thing about it is Ahlul Jannah, we will be together forever. Do you feel that sense of obligation to the generations that come? And what would have happened to us if the Sahaba felt that way? What would have happened to us if the generations that came before us felt that way? What would happen if the generations before us became complacent and instead of addressing their ignorance with knowledge, with effort and sacrifice, their egos overcame them. And now instead of saying, I know nothing, people think they know everything. And thus, what would have happened to us? And what is happening to us? I end with this. Understand something, please. Leading up to Yawm al-Qiyamah, there is a period with Isa alayhi salam where things take a, mashallah, a very intense uptick. After al-Masih al-Dajjal. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min fitnati al-Masih al-Dajjal. There will be an uptick. There's a period where everything is, mashallah, is golden again. It doesn't last that long. But outside of that, leading up to this point, with Isa alayhi salam, you and I, we must understand something. There is a constant generational erosional process taking place. Every generation becomes diminished and less than the previous one. Even though each generation If you ask them, oh, they would not think that. But that's ego. With an objective eye, only thing we have to do is take a look at the last 1,500 years, take a step back, and with an objective eye, look at it, and the truth is obvious, plain and clear. Plain and clear. So there is a generational erosion that is taking place. Who's at fault for the generation which comes after? Why, that generation which preceded it. And all the generations that came before, those who did not carry their responsibility. We understand the concept of sadaqatul jariyah. I want to help build a masjid. I want to support students. I want to build a school. I want to build an orphanage. Why isn't it that we don't apply that same understanding? Because again, in the world of causality, it is there. If you do something and it is wrong and it causes a cascading negative effect, you and I are also responsible for that cascading negative effect. We are the ones who set that thing in motion. We contributed to it, if nothing else. If nothing else. So what is an obligation upon us? That we are supposed to first and foremost represent this deen in our lives and preserve it for the generation to come after us. How many of you would feel comfortable? Because there is a standard. It's not like there's a standard. Yani what, like again, talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli muslim. How many of your children would you feel comfortable? And let's call it, let's give it 16 and up. I don't care up to what. If you got a child, if you're in your 80s, you got a child in your 60s, may Allah bless you. That child too. All of them. How many of you would feel comfortable to have your child take a test to see if they meet that requirement of talabul ilm faridatun ala kulli muslim? How many of you think that they would pass? How many of you do even know what would be on that test? Well, here's the thing. I'm giving you a hypothetical. They're living the reality. Test already started. It's already being administered. And if they are unprepared, then they will suffer. And if you and I have not prepared them, then we are responsible. And if the generations suffer because of our negligence, because of our preoccupations, because of our love of convenience and indulgence, then we must at least bare minimum, if nothing else, accept our guilt so that we can do istighfar, we can make tawbah. And now, hopefully, inshallah, we begin the process of change. Change. An improvement. So that we can not just survive, but thrive and prosper. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of us. May Allah ta'ala forgive us and have mercy on all of us. May Allah ta'ala protect the hearts and minds of our children and the generations to come. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from our own self-sabotage and self-destruction. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our children and the generations to come from our fallacy, from our ignorance, from our arrogance, from our wrongdoings and our sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let them see our mistakes as mistakes and let them learn from them, grow from our mistakes, learn from our mistakes, become something more than us. Something more than us, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ameen. جزاكم الله خيرا جزاء استغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All right, just first of all, I wanted to thank you all for supporting the Masjid Khuda, especially last Friday we did the fundraising for the front steps, granite. Alhamdulillah, this Saturday the work will start, inshallah, and we will close the front entrance for a couple of days. So we will request everybody to come from the ladies' side, which is on my left side. There's a ladies' entrance. You can come in and then use this door to come in for regular salah for Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. So it's going to be at least 2 days. It could be third days as well. So I just want to give you a heads up. Inshallah, the front entrance will be locked up. The other couple of announcement is that last year, we started this program last year, but stopped it during the summer part because the Isha was happening late. This is called Masjid al-Huda Explorer Program. It's for a youth club, youth program actually, which happens every second Friday of the month. What this youth program is usually a small bayan after Isha Salah, 15, 20 minutes. Then the kids goes to Al-Huda Academy. Over there, they play basketball, table tennis, other games are assigned to them. And then, of course, they have dinner as well. So it's fun activity with Islam and have some teaching in there as well. So I highly recommend bringing your kids and join the program. It's free program. There's no cost to you. It's going to happen after Isha Salah. Do the Isha here, have a 15, 20 minutes bayan, and then head out to the academy, inshallah. So don't forget that. It's happening tonight. The other important program, actually, CILGC having fundraising dinner on November 19th. You can see there's a bulletin board over there, and also they're selling tickets outside. It's happening on November 19th, which is Saturday, not this Saturday, following Saturday. It's happening at Hyatt Rosemont near the airport. So please support the organization. The other important messages for the Gain Peace. Gain Peace is also having their fundraising dinner tomorrow at Ashton Place. So if you have not purchased the ticket, please purchase the ticket and donate generously. Masjid al-Huda runs on your donation, so please don't forget. And please, can you move forward? There's brothers standing in the line outside in the hallway. Please, if you find a space in front of you, please stand up and make a line. Jazakallah khair. There's plenty of space on the right and the left corner especially. Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala salah. Hayya ala falah. Hayya ala falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي ساعة من يطيع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصم فقد غوى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما الأعمال بالنيات أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام أستغفر الله لي ولكم أجمعين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونشكره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله سبحانه وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد عبدك وحبيبك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأزواجه وذرياته وصحبه أجمعين اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا يا كريم اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة اللهم إنا نسألك العفو والعافية ونسألك الجنة ونعوذ بك من النار ونعوذ بك من عذاب القبر ونعوذ بك من فتنة المحيا وممات ونعوذ بك من فتنة المسيح الدجال يا مثبت القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك ونسألك من فضلك يا ذا الفضل العظيم عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمركم بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وأقيموا الصلاة
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Please make sure that your rows are straight. There are no gaps in between you. And please make sure you turn your cell phones off, inshallah. Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي الله أكبر سمع الله من حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل فجعلهم كعصف مأكول. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله لا إله إلا الله وأتوب إليه. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Please make dua for those who have passed away in the Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and please make dua for those who are ill, those who are going through any form of difficulty. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them ease in their time of difficulty. May Allah ta'ala use that difficulty as a means of expiation of their sins, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring them out the other side of that difficulty, having learned the lessons that will bring them closer to our Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم لا عيش إلا عيش الآخرة. اللهم إنا نسألك حسن الخاتمة. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. ونسألك من فضلك يا ذا الفضل العظيم. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الحمد لله رب العالمين.